What's up everybody, my name is Ale, welcome to my world of finance. GameStop is a company that is involved in the sale of video games, video game consoles, accessories, and other like random little things. Now I gotta say, I'm a little surprised at how many people have asked me to talk about GameStop stock and how many people I see talking about it just in general, but who can blame them? I mean, you're talking about a company that pays out a dividend yield of over 10%. That's pretty high. I mean, in most cases, well, maybe not most cases, but in some cases, you're lucky just to get 10% returns on the stocks that you're invested in. But there is a catch. You have to invest in GameStop. I meant to say there's a bonus. You get to invest in GameStop. Yeah! Check out this chart over here, guys. Year to date, they're down over 16%, already making those nasty dividend payments disappear. I mean, who wants those, right? And then look at this chart over here. In the last 5 years, check out that nice downward trend. I mean, that's really what you want to see in as an investor. And if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So I don't really know why analysts are being so mean on GameStop stock. Short term, we're looking great. Long term, looking even better. All right, enough joking around. Let's take a look at this company. Is there anything there that we should look at? Let's look at the pros and cons. We'll start with the cons because there are definitely more of those than there are pros. All right, so this is a company that operates these physical retail stores that sell video games, video game consoles, accessories, all kinds of little like video game like memorabilia and like toys and like things that you put like on your shelf and stuff like that. And that is part of their Think Geek segment. And if you walk into a GameStop store today, you will find way more of those than you have ever seen in the past. And the reason why is because video game sales just haven't been that great lately. You see, what's happening is that, and as much as I hate this as a gamer myself, is that the gaming industry is turning more and more digital by the minute. You know, you can see it with Nintendo. They have the eShop, and they used to have the virtual console. We'll probably be getting some kind of form of that in the future, in the not too distant future, hopefully. With PlayStation, they sell their games online as well. Xbox does the same thing. Xbox has actually had a lot of success lately with Games Pass, where it's basically a subscription service. You pay a monthly fee and you get access to a tremendous amount of games. I think it's like over 100 different games, and I believe that all of their first party exclusives are actually launched day one. So there's all kinds of subscription services popping up, and this is really only the beginning. Now, speaking of Xbox, at their last E3 event, they announced that they are hard at work at perfecting online streaming of video games. Now, Game Pass is not really that, because with Game Pass you actually download your games, whereas online streaming would not allow you to do that. But many experts think that that is the future that we're headed into, where, and I can't really give like all the specific details about it because I mean, I don't even work for them, but I think the main idea is that these companies would have very powerful hardware that they own and operate themselves, and then they basically stream out online their games to the consumer who owns a much weaker hardware. Like much weaker hardware could even get to a point where it gets streamed to like your phone, and then maybe you connect your phone to the TV or something like that. This is obviously a ways away, but I think that is the future that we're headed into, and the fact that Xbox is already talking about it, I think says a lot. And I forgot to mention PC gaming. I'm not really a PC gamer myself, but I think they just use like the Microsoft Store and Steam, I think, is like the most popular service that they use, but all of that just lets them basically buy games online, and so they don't really have a need to go and purchase physical games. I mean, when was the last time that you saw someone purchase a physical PC game? I don't think I've ever seen that. I feel like people just download it online. Now, I think that the real question is, will physical games ever truly fully disappear? But the problem is that I don't think that that question even matters. You see, when looking at a company like GameStop, the problem with them is that they're not well diversified. Let's take a look at Best Buy, for example. Now, Best Buy obviously does have an online retail platform and it's pretty well built, and I often use it too, but let's just look at their physical space. Now, in their physical space, they obviously do sell physical video games, but they have other products as well. In other words, they're diversified. So while a customer might come in for a video game, they may also look at TVs and soundbars and other things as well. And so because of that, Best Buy can afford to lower the price of their physical video games and maybe make up for it with other products as well. In fact, whenever I shop for video games, I often check Best Buy prices because they often have really good sales on their video games, and I'm always amazed at how much cheaper they are than other places like GameStop. As a retail store, the number one thing that you're concerned about is foot traffic. You want to get as many people through those doors into your store, purchasing as many items as possible. It doesn't have to just be one type of item, it can be many different types of items. You just want to get as many people through those doors stores as possible. The problem with GameStop is that they only have really one focus, which is video games. Yes, they do have accessories and some other like little knickknacks and things like that, but their main focus is video games, like, you know, let's be honest. And so a lot of their customers might just come in, buy one video game and walk out. And yes, they do have a lot of sales from like used video games and things like that, but still, I mean, you're mostly going in there just to purchase a video game and probably leaving. Whereas Best Buy, you walk in and you probably do some shopping, you look at other things around too. And again, Best Buy can drive up their sales by offering so many different products, whereas GameStop isn't going to have such great sales. I was in a GameStop the other day, guys. It was completely empty. I don't know if you guys have any GameStops next to you guys. This could just be my location, but I almost never see anybody walking into that store. It's pretty dead. And so because of all these reasons, I don't think that GameStop can really afford to bring down their prices on video games. I almost never pay full price for a video game. Even with Best Buy, I still have Gamers Club, even though that's they're kind of canceling that out, but I still have it for a little while longer. With Best Buy Gamer Club, you get 20% off. Even if you don't use that, Amazon has 20% off of brand new games. So I never pay a full price for video games. And even then, I usually get them for like 30 bucks or even 20 bucks. I mean, I get video games very cheap. GameStop can't really afford to give those prices because, again, those customers are going in for those video games. They're not really purchasing anything else, so they can't afford to make up for those purchases with other products. Amazon, if you go on Amazon's website for a video game, chances are you're going to see a bunch of recommendations for a bunch of other things, and you're probably going to look around for some stuff too. You might add some other stuff to your cart, and you might end up purchasing a bunch of different products. So those companies can afford to bring down their prices. And while GameStop makes a lot of money off of used games, if you're going to run your entire company off of used games, if that's going to be your number one go-to thing, and you're going to try to compete with the likes of Best Buy and Walmart and Amazon, then good luck. Okay, so those are some pretty bad cons, but there are some pros that we could kind of look into. Well, for starters, let's look at what type of investor would be interested in GameStop. Maybe a value investor that obviously can't care about growth, because this company is probably going to go out of business, similar to Blockbuster Video. Okay, here's the thing. Is the stock cheap? Yes, technically it is cheap. I mean, when you're talking about their trailing PE ratio being under 5, their PS ratio being less than 0.2, their PB value being less than 1 at about 0.7, obviously if there was any kind of value in that company, then you could argue that this stock was undervalued. Okay, so the company isn't doing so great. So what has management done about it? So has management tried to diversify at all? Well, yes, actually they have. So they tried to do some experimenting in the mobile market, but that ended up costing them a ton of money and was pretty generally considered a failure. They also made a push towards collectibles by purchasing ThinkGeek in 2015, and that was pretty successful, growing around 30% last year. But the problem is that their ThinkGeek segment only makes up less than 7% of GameStop's sales. And as of now, GameStop is entering the comic book market. They announced in early June that they will be selling comic books in 40 of their stores as sort of a trial period, but that's practically nothing when you consider the fact that GameStop has over 7,200 physical stores. But you also have to keep in mind that they are planning on closing down many GameStop stores, and you have to give the whole comic book thing time to grow as well. But I just don't think that it's a big enough move to really save them. And so that leaves us with the last possible solution, and that is to just sell the company. In June, GameStop did announce that they are actively looking for buyers, and I think that that did really help the stock a little bit, perform a little bit better than expected, and probably the biggest reason why the stock hasn't just completely tanked yet. But even then, guys, do you really think that a buyer is going to come out and pay a premium price for a company that will inevitably die? I don't really think so. So even if you're investing in that stock for those reasons, I don't think that investors will be happy with whatever offer this company gets in terms of a buyout. So in conclusion, when looking at the pros, if you pick up this stock, I think you're getting a very high dividend yield for a cheap price that may be bought out at some point. But the cons are that the stock will likely perform so poorly that it will negate any of your dividend gains. Investors will likely be unhappy with any buyout price offered, and the company is in a market that they can't really succeed in, no matter how you look at it. So my rating is that I'm obviously very bearish on GME stock, but who cares what I think? It matters what you guys think. So make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know if you're bullish, bearish, or neutral on GME stock. I'll tally up the results and I'll have that for you guys in a future video. Also, do any of you guys own GME stock? I don't even know if I should ask you that. I just talked so much trash in this video. If I offended anybody, if any of you own GME stock, I'm very sorry. I do want GameStop to stay in business. You know, as a gamer myself, I want them to diversify. I want them to stay relevant. But at the moment, it's just not looking good. So we'll have to just keep an eye on it. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll keep you guys up to date. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful day and that you take care. Bye.